Hello, and welcome back to Season 2 of the Running Behind podcast. I'm Joey Metzger, your host and guide to this world of the back of the pack. But today and in Season 2, we're going to go beyond the back. Our adventures won't just stop at running or always start on the trail. Sometimes they'll just be adventures and stories and getting to know fascinating people. And today's episode is exactly that. My guest today is Tiffany Piotrowicz. Tiffany is the owner of Terra Loco, a running shoe and apparel store in Rochester, Minnesota. We get the goods on how all that came about at a very young age, how she uses her creative genius both for the store and her personal life, and we learn how Tiffany is making a difference in her community, especially in these recent trying times in Minnesota. And please stay tuned after the conversation for a new segment I'm trying out called Running Out Loud, where I share some works and words by talented folks who've been inspiring me lately. So, if you're heading out for your run or your hike, lace up those shoes, and if you don't know which ones, well, I bet Tiffany could probably help you with that. But it's time to meet Tiffany, it's time for Season 2, and it's time to hit the trail. Okay, first thing, how do I want to pronounce your last name correctly. Let me tell you, before you tell me the correct pronunciation, I had a guess in my mind because I have a friend from Poland, and it looks to me like a Polish name almost. It's probably not, but
it is 100% a Polish name. Yes, it's Polish.
Piotrowicz?
That is the proper Polish pronunciation. Yes, correct.
It is. Okay.
Yes, now, and my husband would be very proud to hear you say that. So
wonderful. Now, how do we actually say it?
We pronounce it Piotrowicz.
Piotrowicz?
Piotrowicz.
Vix. Got it.
Ish. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what I pronounce on the introduction to this pod. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. So I like to start these off with a couple of just, icebreaker questions. You didn't listen to anything, did you, on any podcast, did you?
I think I listened to Jason's interview, and I may have listened to part of another one. I can't remember, though.
All right, that's fine. I start these off with just a icebreaker question. Tiffany, give me one word that describes you as a person. One word. Take your time.
I guess I would say creative.
Wonderful. Good. And we're going to get to that. You are extremely creative. I don't want to jump ahead of the cart before the horse, but one word, creative. Love it. Now, I normally ask my guests one word to describe themselves as a runner. I know you told me you're not doing a lot of running lately, so I'm going to mix it up a little. Give me one word, Tiffany, that describes you as a business owner.
Honest.
Love it. Very nice. Very nice. Behind you, am I seeing a Back to the Future poster? And what's the other one? I don't have my screen blowing up. I got to expand my screen here. What's the other? My God, an Indiana Jones. Are those yours, or is those your husband? Is Josh, right? Is that your husband's name?
Correct. Yeah.
Are those yours or Josh's?
Both of ours.
Oh my God, I love you guys. That is so right down my alley. So anyways, my guest today is Tiffany. Tiffany is the owner of Terra Loco, a foot apparel and running apparel store down in Rochester, Minnesota. And I met Tiffany because I interviewed Jason Reeve. Jason works at the store, and somehow he convinced me. He said, you should come down here and talk at Resolution Night. And so I did my best Tony Robbins impression and came down there and spoke at Resolution Night. And then I started following you on social media, and I don't know if the rest of the world knows this, but there's a lot of shit going on in Minnesota lately.
Yeah, there is.
Tiffany is all over it, and we're going to talk about that. So I was like, oh, this would be a great interview. And Jason was like, yeah, you should absolutely interview her. So you're here. Let's get started. I want to talk about I want to start with, normally I start with like people's like athletic stuff as a youth. I guess we could do that. Did you do any running as a youth, athletics? What was your youth athletic scene like?
Yeah, so this is a great story. So basically, up until about eighth grade, so elementary school, middle school, I played basketball, but that was because I got tall fast, and so I was one of the taller kids in class, and so that was kind of the default sport at the time. But yeah, no, I did not do any sports in high school until my junior or senior year of high school, when I joined the track team, because my boyfriend was in track, and so that was, yeah. But I wanted to do the least amount of running possible, so I was a thrower. So I did discus and shot put. Yeah.
Smart. You're so much smarter than me. I, like you, junior year of high school, the only sport I did, I joined the track team because I had friends on the track team. Yeah. And I was like, they said, you should join track. And I was like, okay, I'm a nerd, but sure, I'll try it. Unfortunately, I also asked to do the least amount of running. I'm like, I'm pretty quick. Let me do the 100-meter dash. No. The 2-mile race, Tiffany, I got stuck in the 3,200 meter. So I'm happy for you. It sucked for me. I was so bad.
Yeah,
So that was your one athletic endeavor in high school?
Yes, yeah, it was. Yeah, I did have to do one, I think 400-meter one time to fill in for somebody. It was horrible.
Oh yeah.
Never again.
It was a nightmare. It was 8 times around that bloody track.
Yeah, no.
And each time I was like, how am I going to get around once? And I'm watching these guys do it like in, a minute and 15 seconds on the 400. And I'm struggling to like 2 minutes for every lap. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So that's it for athletics in high school. What else did you do in high school then, if you weren't doing athletics?
I was a band geek. So I played clarinet and tenor sax and bari sax in marching band and, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. That's, I was in band too. That's why you end up with Back to the Future posters behind you and Raiders of the Lost Ark, because we were in band and not, on the basketball teams. So after high school, you grew up in Minnesota, is that correct?
Yeah, so I've been in Rochester basically most of my life. We moved, my dad's an IBMer, so we moved here when I was starting first grade. So I've been here since, since I was about seven or eight.
Okay. All right. And then college, what did you go to college for? I'm just leading into how we end up owning a store, but what did you go to college for? What were you thinking after high school? This is my career. This is what I'm going to do. What was the plan, Tiffany, before it changed?
My plan was to be a teacher. I wanted to be an English teacher. So, but midway through that plan, so I went to WSU, to Winona State, because I didn't want to go too far from home. So it's about 45 minutes from here. So I was able to come home on weekends, which was nice. So midway through that plan, I decided I didn't. The No Child Left Behind law passed, and I decided I didn't like the idea of having to be a teacher with so many restrictions around me. And specific things that I needed to teach, and so I switched to paralegal. So I have a bachelor's degree in paralegal and in English, so double major. And then I went back to school about year or two later, 2 years later maybe, so I have my master's degree in English.
Okay, so you have your master's degree in English, you have a paralegal degree. And you head out for your career, and what do you start out doing, and how did you end up owning a foot running shoe store?
So what's funny about it is that like I've worked at shoe stores my entire life. So when I was in high school, in 10th grade, one of my very first jobs I got was at Rogan's Shoes. And I worked there most of my high school career. And then after, when I went to college and like during the summers, I worked at Foot Locker. And that's actually where I met my husband, was at Foot Locker. And then after that, school and lots of other things. And then I worked at the running room for a little while as well before I ended up over at Terra Loco. But so I eventually kind of come full circle, but it took me a while. And so what I kind of tell people is that, like, I've always been really good at retail and I've always really enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was a real job. And so I thought I needed a real job where you kind of put on a suit and tie and you know, get a salary and, you know, punch a clock for whatever. I don't know. I'm not sure what I had in my mind, but, you know, like a real job that, you know, real adults get. You know, so I did lots of retail, but I just kept, okay, I have to figure out what my real job is going to be. And so I just kept trying different things. And eventually I came to the conclusion that, like, this can actually be a real job. Like, this can be a career. This is something that I can do, and it's something that I enjoy and I'm good at. And so, like, why am I putting myself down? Why am I putting this career choice or this thing that I'm doing that I love down? Why don't I just embrace it? And that's kind of how I ended up working at a run specialty store, and then working at Terra Loco when it was owned by somebody else. And they offered to sell the store to me, and the rest is history, I guess.
So how long did they have the store that you worked there before they decided to sell? And what made them want to sell? Were they moving or just changing careers, or what happened?
Yes, so I started there January of 2013, and the store opened in August of 2012. So I was there just a couple months after the store opened. I was their, like, kind of first full-time sales associate, and then I kind of quickly took on additional roles with social media and events and ordering and, you know, scheduling and all sorts of, you know, other things. They planned to move back to Colorado, and so that was the point at which they offered to sell me the store. And I'd always kind of wanted to own a retail store. I guess, like, you know, when I was a kid, I kind of imagined like this, like a bookstore, you know, coffee shop bookstore, you know, nice and, you know, where, like, I don't know, smart people would, you know, put their glasses on and drink coffee and read Shakespeare or whatever. I don't know. So they figured that this is kind of my one and only chance to, you know, make that happen, because starting from scratch is just so hard in retail. And so I was just able to buy the brand, you know, take over the lease, the inventory, you know, and some of the other things that were already in place. So yeah, I just made it happen.
So was the store already successful when you bought it, or was it still pretty new, or how successful was the store when you took it on? Was it Is that something that you were like wanting to build on, or was it already had a pretty good following at that point?
I mean, it was, we definitely had, a, you know, really good start, for sure. I took over in, so officially took over in August of 2015. So the store was really only about a year and a half old when they offered to sell me the store and when I took over it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of, like, you know, great things in place already, and, you know, a lot of very loyal customers and things. But, you know, like I said, I was there, you know, pretty much from the beginning, and so I was kind of helping with a lot of that stuff from the get-go.
Were you and Josh already married at this point?
Yes, we got married really young. We're one of those people that,
Oh,
yeah. So we met the summer that I graduated high school, actually,
okay.
at
Foot Locker.
Foot Locker. Yep. And then, yeah, we got married in November of 2002. So we've been married for almost 25 years now.
Wow, congratulations. My wife and I are on our second marriage, so we are going to celebrate 10 years this year of marriage. We've been together for quite a while, but yeah, congratulations. So what did Josh think when you came home and said, that store I worked at, yeah, I'm going to buy it? What was, I'm just curious, what was his reaction? He was like scared? Was he encouraging? What did he think?
He's the kind of guy that will always be encouraging regardless of how ridiculous the idea is.
Yeah.
So I had no doubt that he would be like, oh yeah, go ahead, I support you. I'm sure he probably would tell you that he was, really nervous and worried about, what it was going to be like. But yeah, no, he was, very supportive.
All on board. So when you get the store, what's the first thing you discover? Oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. What were your big challenges right away when you bought the store and started running it?
Yeah, I think so. I always tell people that before I took over the store, I was like, what is the owner doing? Like, where is he? What's taking up all of his time? Like, I can't imagine there's more to do. I'm doing so much. And then I actually took over the store and realized all the things that actually are happening behind the scenes. So I think for most small business owners, especially people that are really passionate about the thing that they're doing, is that they find that once they start, you spend very little time actually doing the thing that you're passionate about doing. You end up spending so much of your time just, opening bills and contacting people about, just
inventory,
like there's just so much stuff.
Taxes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That I think most people don't really think about. They're excited about the idea, but there's just a lot that has to happen behind the scenes that most people are not aware of until they get into it.
And when you get the store, do you have like a vision for it? Do you like, okay, they did this, but I want to do this. I want people reading Shakespeare while they're trying on shoes, sipping coffee. What is your vision for the store when you get it? Or maybe you didn't have one. Maybe that developed over time. I'm just curious.
I mean, to be honest, at the time, it was really just, I have to make my payments. Like, what do I need to do in order to pay my bills? That was really the only thing I was mostly concerned about at the beginning. It took me a little while to really pin down exactly what it was that I want to do at the store and what our mission and our goals are and our vision and our values. So my dog is being obnoxious. Sorry.
Dogs are always welcome on the podcast. You may or may not know I'm an absolute dog person. My wife and I don't have kids. We have dogs. So
yeah, us too.
I would just interview dogs if I could, but they're not the best podcast guests. So dogs are welcome. So when you get the store, is part of your vision, besides Shakespeare and drinking coffee, is your vision the social media side of it? You said you were already doing that with the former owners. Did you have a vision of like creating a social media presence with the store?
No. No, honestly, sorry, I'm going to let him out.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine.
So this one is a senior. He's almost 14.
Oh, and no.
Yeah, last week we were talking about putting him down, and this week he's like running around like a puppy. And I'm like, what are you doing, dog?
What's his name?
Toby.
I love that name. That's a sweet name. And what kind of dog is Toby?
He's a golden retriever corgi mix.
Oh, golden corgi.
So he's like, imagine a golden retriever, but like extra long and like short legs.
Corgi, isn't that what did the Queen of England? What did she always have? Was that
Yeah,
corgis?
corgis.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
We have Cocker Spaniels. We're Cocker Spaniel people, so we like the little bit smaller dogs. And so
Yeah.
he's
Yeah. These days are
14. Toby is
yeah.
14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We lost. I mean, we've lost several dogs now. We lost Ricky, who was my. Do you have a dog that's like your soulmate? And I
Yeah.
interviewed a friend of mine, D. Lucas, on this podcast, and we talked about she lost her dog Penny, we lost Ricky, and it's like we love all of our dogs, and it's hard to say you love one more than another. But Ricky was just my freaking soulmate, man. That dog just, I don't know what it was. He was a rescue. I don't know if you rescue your dogs
Yeah.
or. He was a rescue. He lived 4.5 years in a little kennel, 4 foot by 4 foot. Until the day he died, he circled every time he had to go to the bathroom. Just would go in a little circle because that's what he did in the
Yeah.
kennel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he just wanted to be loved, and we got him, and he just wanted to cuddle. He wanted to be loved, and that freaking guy, I still cry about him. Like he just, oh, dogs are
Yeah.
amazing. You have
Yeah. They are.
another dog too?
We do. The other one, his name is Riker, and he is a pit bull border collie mix.
Okay. All
But
right.
he's actually also a senior too. He's 10 years old now.
Okay.
But he still acts like a puppy.
All
He's
right.
very, very energetic, has lots of energy, and yeah. So
Will you guys always have dogs? I know we have friends that have cats, and they recently lost all of their cats, and they're like, I don't know. We're always gonna have dogs. We're gonna be 90 something and
oh
adopting
yeah,
dogs
yeah.
because
No, we're childless by choice. So the
same.
dogs are kind of the family members here, and so yeah, as soon as we've already been talking about. Don't tell Toby, but
Shh.
we've already been talking about what kind of dog we're gonna get next. So
Got
yeah.
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just love them. We just love our dogs. We are going up north to Gooseberry Falls this weekend and taking the two dogs with. Last year, a year ago, Ricky made his final trip. He went up there. We went up to the North Shore, and he did great. He was still doing great. He had bad like kidney failure, but he was
Mhm.
still doing great. And then in June, his little body just said, I can't do it." They tell you, but
Yeah.
obviously Toby's saying, not so soon, not
Yeah.
so soon.
Yeah. Hold on a minute.
Hold on 1 minute.
Yep.
So you've got the store. You're doing the social media. You were doing that before the previous owners. Once you get the store, are you ramping up the social media, or what are your avenues to like grow business and make the store your own?
Yeah, so the key things I kind of really focused on initially were, I mean, like I said, I just needed to pay the bills because it
Yeah.
was a sale by owner. So I was paying, so that was the only way that I could have made that work. So I
Oh,
was just
sure.
paying the, previous owners a payment every month. But the way that the, agreement is written in most cases is that if you miss a payment, the contract is null and void. They can just take it back over, right? And
Oh
so
my God.
every month I was like, I have to make, I just have to make enough money in order to pay my rent and pay my employees and my inventory and make sure that I have enough money to pay this
Right.
bill. So really, I mean, my focus so that was the first 5 years, and that was really just, make enough money to pay those bills, and that was it. So that was like the first 5 years was just really grinding,
Treading water. Just keep
yeah,
your head above
working as hard
water.
as possible. Yeah, exactly. And what I really focused on those first couple of years, I would say, in terms of like how to grow the store was events and
Hmm.
opportunities to bring people together. And so, resolution night, we've been doing that. And again, you were kind enough to share your story there, it was fantastic.
Yes.
But we've been doing that for, I think 12 years. So like
Oh,
it was an
wow.
event that I started, I think the year before I took over the store. So we've been doing it every single year. And those kinds of things where we can really bring the community together and
Yeah.
sort of inspire people and give people opportunities to meet new people and connect
Yeah.
has always been a really key part of what we've done.
Yeah. Did you have any relatives or friends that owned their own business, or who did you look to when you were like, once the owners were gone? And did you have anybody you could turn to say, hey, how do you handle this? Who'd you turn to?
Um,
Or maybe it was
so
nobody. Maybe it was like, I don't know, I'll figure it out.
I mean, to me, yeah. I mean, a lot of it was just like I have to figure this out on my own. That said, I originally, the what is it called? It's a nonprofit, and they help
Okay.
businesses with sort of initial stuff, and
Yeah.
SBDC, that's what it's called,
Okay.
Small Business Development
Council?
something. Yeah,
Something?
that sounds
Are
about right.
they unique to Rochester, or are they all
No,
over?
no, no, no. It's all over. Yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's free, which is great because that was originally the people who helped me kind of look at the documents and figure out whether or not this was even something I could do and point me in the right direction. So that was kind of the start. But the tricky part is that there really aren't any other comparable stores in town per se, like, and you're also not going to be reaching out to people who are competitors,
Yeah.
necessarily. And so but I do have a lot of like friends who are business owners now, who I do go to for advice and things, and I reach out to about probably about gosh 8 years ago, 9 years ago now. I randomly reached out to a store owner, a run specialty store owner in Virginia. The name of the store is Point Two, and
Okay.
one of the I just like found their contact information on their website, and I was just like, hey, I'm new to this. I'd like to connect. And we still talk. In fact, I sent her an email today.
Nice.
And so we only met in person once, but Andrea has been great in helping me with things when we're and say vice versa, like reaching out when we're like, hey, how does this thing work, and what did you do for this? And it's nice because she's not in a competitor because they're out in out in
Right.
Virginia.
Yeah.
But I've also connected with the folks up at Mill City and
Okay.
what's the other one?
Here in the cities, we have, I know Fleet Feet, which used to be like marathon
Yeah.
shoes.
Hmm.
My wife actually knows that owner. And then TC Running is the other one I know of up here.
Okay,
Is
Doc.
that Toby? Hi,
Yeah.
Toby. Hi, Toby.
Need
Oh,
help? You want
you
to get
need
up there?
help, buddy? Yeah.
No? You're good?
No.
Can you just stay there?
All right. Oh. Yeah, our little Ricky at the end, he couldn't hardly jump on the couch anymore or the bed, so we would just lift him up. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just,
He's most of the time he's good, so he just must be
yeah,
having a
I love
problem
dogs.
today.
You know why? Let's talk about dogs some more. Dogs are so much better than people because my wife and I were talking about this. It's just like because they're so innocent, Tiffany. They
Yeah.
don't they don't do crazy things. They're not racist. They're just innocent. All they want is to be fed and your love.
Yeah.
And like how much purer can you get than that? So there's some
Yeah.
people like that, but it's not all the time, as we know,
Yeah.
as we'll get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got the business going. I want to talk about 2020. We will get to the video. We will get to that because I got to know the story on that. We'll do that later on when I want to talk about your YouTube channel and some of your other creative things. But 2020 comes along. You've only had the store for 5 years.
Mhm.
And did you freak the F out when that happened? Or how did that go for you? Are you still doing the sale by owner at this point? Are you still paying the payments every month?
Yes.
And did you,
I
okay,
had about
what was
I had
that
about
like as a young business owner paying a payment every month and then the world fucking shuts down? How did you
yeah.
handle that?
So I had at that point, March 2020, I had about 9 months left to pay. That's it.
Okay.
So
Wow.
so there was
My
never a
God.
question in my mind that I was going to make that happen because there was no way I was going to let the last 4.5 years go to waste. So
Yeah.
I had to make it happen no matter what. We, at the time, March 20th, I think it was, 2020, that Saturday, it was crazy busy at the store. And all this information came out on, that Sunday or that Saturday or whatever. And I was like, we've been surrounded by, just packed people everywhere, in the store. This is not a good idea. So we shut everything down for 48 hours while we just was like, how are we going to do this?
Okay, I want to know the details. I was working at a company the day before we shut everything down. Our company declared bankruptcy, and so it was a whole freaking other nightmare. But as a business owner, how do you shut it down? Do you just put signs out, lock the doors? How do you contact your customers? How did you shut it down? First off.
We just put signs out, sent out emails, posted on social media.
Okay.
The thing was at the time that everybody was kind of in the same boat, so I think most people sort of understood what was happening and why. So we took 48 hours to sort of figure out how can we still sell, and how can we still get people the stuff they need without being open 100%,
Right.
So we just figured out, a way to make it work. And it's kind of funny. When you look back on it, we were the doors were locked. People had to, knock to come in. And then we only allowed, a couple people in at a time, and everyone had to be masked. And we had this, area roped off for customers, and we sanitized every single shoe that was tried on.
Did you check their forehead temperatures? Were you checking the,
We did I bought
God.
fancy, so we did all the things. But always, and this was the first time where I had to really think about what is important to me, as a business owner. Is making the money the most important thing, or is something else more important?
Wow.
And that was the first time I really had to think about what is the most important thing here? Is it the health of my customers and my staff members? At the time, I had a staff member whose husband was immunocompromised. He had a transplant, so that was also a concern.
So
and at that time, I realized that was about when I started kind of really pinning down what my values were, so that in the future, when things like this happen, I can make decisions based on those values.
Wow.
And I always, from the get-go, people's health and safety was the most important thing to me. And we did some ridiculous things, and they were wrong, in retrospect, but we didn't know. And I'd rather be safe than sorry.
That's wonderful on you. I know there was a lot of businesses that, quite frankly, didn't make it, which was very sad. I know a lot of our restaurants, and my wife and I like to either order takeout or go to a lot of restaurants in our local Minneapolis neighborhoods, and a lot of them didn't make it. But there was also a lot of people that were like, screw this. Well, we heard them. They were like, I don't care. You shouldn't be shutting things down and just trying to run the world. And we didn't know what we didn't know. And I think, it was a scary time. People were dying. So, wow, good for you to do that. So you made it through. Was business, did it hold steady with doing all these different ways of getting people in the stores? Were you doing a lot of people order it and then they just pick it up at the door kind of thing like Target was doing?
Yeah, we were doing virtual shoe fittings, on Zoom, meetings. We were.
How do you do a virtual shoe fitting?
I'd have them put, a camera down on the floor so we could watch them walk, and then we, chit chat about stuff, and I was hand delivering stuff to people's doors. We did a bunch of mystery gift bags, but the thing is that, again, at that time, everybody was kind of in the same boat and everybody kind of understood what was happening. And our customers were so loyal and so like they did not want to see us go out of business. So I had a customer who purchased gift cards just to purchase gift cards. He wasn't going to give them to anybody. He was just like, I just want to make sure that, you have enough money to pay your rent, and he just purchased gift cards just
Oh,
because.
wow.
So there were a lot of people like that. And at the time, because gyms were closed, there was a lot more people were exercising more. And so ultimately, it actually wasn't like horrible for business. It was actually not, we actually did okay. And we paid our rent every single month. And I didn't fire anybody. And we paid the owners every month. And yeah.
I want to talk about some of the stuff you do with your community. You've got a lot of cool events and stuff. So you were doing that always, like even when you were just working there, you were starting to do a lot of these community events. I know you said Resolution Night. You've been doing that every year. Talk about some of the other events you do in the community there, some of the other things you support.
Yeah. So back in the day, we did a lot of like kind of, like a Learn to Run class. We had a group that met to do sort of, hill workouts or speed workouts once a week. We did a lot of, we did Ragnar Trail. We did 2 years of Ragnar Trail. We sent a whole team out. So then we had like training, group runs and all that kind of stuff every week. And obviously the $5 5Ks is something that is just, something that we've been doing forever. So that has been something that, again, I've been kind of in charge of and been doing since basically the store opened.
Tell me a little bit more about the $5 5Ks. I kind of know, but my listeners, I think, would be interested to hear what that is.
Yeah, so basically what we do is every Monday night, we have a 5K for a different local charity. And so people come and they pay $5 to run, in the 5K. And we mark a course. And when they come back, we do a prize drawing. So there's an opportunity to, win some things. And every week we're supporting a different nonprofit. And that program has grown a ton since we first started it. And it's probably kind of our, I don't know if you want to call it our flagship, event basically at the store. And last year we raised over $12,000 for local charities just with that program, with our $5.
Wow. How many people do you get showing up for these typically?
So we have more people usually during the summer, which, makes sense. Weather's better, school's out, things like that. But anywhere between 30 and 120 people. On average, probably about 40.
That's
but
awesome.
Yeah, we had a couple of really big events last year where, there were over 100 people who showed up.
That is great. My buddy Jerry, who I met at Storm of the Day, not last year before, I always see on Strava, he's always doing a lot of those. So he was at Resolution Night. He and his wife, Anna, were there. So very cool. And so you've got Resolution Night. What are some of the other events and things that you do with the store in the community?
So again, Resolution Night, the $5 5Ks are really kind of the biggest thing that we do. This year, we're going to be doing a Ragnar team again. So we're doing Ragnar Trail Wisconsin again, and I'm still looking for people to fill our team. And I have at least one team, if not two, space for two. And so back in 2019, that was the last time we did this. It was so much fun. We took care of all, and we're going to do this again. We're going to take care of all of the camping equipment, all the setup, all the gear, so you don't have to worry about bringing a tent and, all this other stuff. We're just going to take care of it all and provide some, training opportunities and group runs and things like that. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that we'll get some more people to join the team soon. And this year is kind of our focus on trail running. So this is sort of, right now we have a lot of staff members who are trail runners and who are, tackling different distances and doing, cool new things. So again, we're planning on, quite a few more group runs, demo opportunities, so you can try out new shoes.
Okay.
Night runs, so you can, practice running in the dark in the woods with a headlamp on and all that stuff for Ragnar. So those are kind of the biggest things. We also do a kind of shopping night every fall or winter leading into the holiday season, where we do kind of swag bags and like all these fun holiday things. I'll be honest, after COVID, we probably took about a good 2 years off of doing pretty much any group activities.
Yeah.
The first, obviously 2020 and into 2021, nothing was happening. Nobody was meeting at all. And then in, 2021 to 2022 was kind of like, I don't know, can we? How does this feel to people? And so we probably delayed a little bit more than we should have, bringing some of those things back. So it took a little bit longer after COVID to sort of get back to kind of the way that I would like things to be in terms of, offering opportunities for customers and group runs and things like that. So this year, I think we've got a lot of really cool things happening. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Should we talk some really heavy duty shoe store stuff? I listened to, you had on your YouTube channel, you had a great, I know when you started making videos, you did a Shoes 101. I just loved it. Should we do a little Shoes 101, Tiffany? Are you up for that?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm a customer. I'm coming in looking for a running shoe. What's that process like? How do you find out what a customer needs? And I don't know anything about pronation or any of that. What are some of the things you look for in a customer to get them into the right shoe?
Yeah, I think the first thing that people need to understand is that what shoe works for one person is not going to work for somebody else. So a lot of times what I see online is people going, what shoe should I get for this? And, and everyone's like, I love this and I love that. And this is my favorite shoe. And you'll get 20 different answers. And that's because everybody's foot and everybody's gait and everybody's needs are different. So matching all of those things to the right shoe is kind of what we do, right? And so this involves a process of a gait analysis. So we, look at your arches, we see if they're collapsing, if they're high, if they're low. The shape of your feet will make a difference as well too, if they're, more narrow in the heel or wider in the forefoot, or your feet are kind of shaped like bricks like mine are. All those things will make a difference in terms of what type of shoe or brand we might, steer you towards. When we're doing the gait analysis, we're also looking to see if you're overpronating or not. So we're watching you walk or run and seeing if your arches are collapsing, if your knees are rolling in, if everything's kind of coming towards the medial side, right? And so if so, then we want to put you in a stability shoe that will basically, as you kind of roll in, will sort of push that foot sort of back into more of a neutral plane, kind of line everything up the way that we want it to. Because if your knees are collapsing in, your hips are kind of collapsing in, your arches are, everything is kind of being torqued in a way that isn't, it's not supposed to be. So once we know whether you need a stability shoe or not, then it's more just a matter of what distances are you running? Do you like a soft shoe? Do you like something firmer, more responsive? How does this fit with your arch? Most of the time people will find that one brand kind of fits their feet really well. And going forward, you can kind of sort of stay in that brand for the most part, and you'll find that that'll kind of work for you kind of going forward. Of course, they change the shoes, every year. So we just, so we do the gait analysis, we look at your feet, we watch you walk, do all that kind of stuff. And then we ask lots of questions. So, that's really the biggest part is asking those questions, figuring out what it is that your needs are, and what you like in a shoe, which you may not know, and that's okay. And that's why we have, kind of a really generous return policy, allow people to try stuff and, bring it back if it doesn't work. and hopefully we'll kind of pin that down pretty quick.
I'm for me, I was just telling somebody this week. They literally reached out to me and said, "You have a lot of shoes. You like shoes. What shoe should I get?"
Yeah.
And so I said, my friend Tiffany says this. Everybody's different, but I did give them a suggestion. I said, I know of a shoe that works for me, and this is the characteristics I like. I have wide feet. It's comfortable for that. And it's got a lot of cushion. I use it for walking and running. And so they're trying. I said, try it, and if it, I mean, they were wearing, I don't know what, some model of Brooks, but like you said, people are like, oh, you've got Brooks. Well, I'll try Brooks. Well, there's 1,000 different Brooks,
Right, exactly.
there's 1,000 different Hokas. There's 1,000 different everything. So I told this person to try it, and they're trying it, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But yeah, it's so unique to your feet. My feet, and here's the thing: I don't know, as a business owner selling shoes, how you feel about it. As a consumer, it is so frustrating when these brands change their design so drastically. Like, I used to wear the Saucony Kinvaras until what was it, version 13 or 14 came out, and I ordered them, I threw them in the garbage, and I'm like, how could you change it so much? I don't even recognize it. It doesn't even fit my feet anymore. Why do they do that, Tiffany? Why do they make such drastic changes? What's causing them to do that? It was fine.
Yeah, so obviously there's market research, and somebody is telling them that there's something wrong with the shoe that needs to be fixed. The unfortunate thing is that, like, while they might be fixing something for one group of people, they're ruining it for somebody else. I personally wish that all the brands were on more of like a 2-year cycle. Currently, they're on a 1-year. Most of them are on a 1-year cycle. So honestly, you get a good, you might get 9 months, out of a style of shoe before, like, we're kind of thinking about the next one coming out.
What's
2-year cycle
causing
would be
that?
so much better.
They just, because they want people to buy new shoes every year. So they want you. They don't want you. I'm literally like, just keep the shoe the same. I will buy a new pair every year. Now what I'm doing is I find a shoe I like, I buy 2 or 3 pairs.
Yeah. Which can also be problematic. So because, if you're just shoes actually, so the foam in the shoe will actually break down even when you're not using it. So,
really?
I mean, you're somebody who probably puts in plenty of miles, that won't be an issue. But like, if you're setting a pair of shoes in a closet that you're thinking you're going to wear in 2 years or 3 years, that's not gonna work.
Really? How long does the foam before the foam breaks down? This is good information.
You know what? I'm sure there's probably research on that out there someplace. But yeah, I would probably say, 2 years is probably a good,
2
good
years. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably still be functional. It's not like it won't work. It's just that, the foam starts to break down and it just isn't as resilient as it was. And you're not going to feel, it's not going to feel as cushioned, and just, plastics get harder and rubbers get harder and things like that, so.
Well, I mean, it's always true. I always use the example of like a rubber band. Rubber bands don't last forever. If you leave it in a drawer after a few years, it turns to like dust.
Yep.
There's nothing left. That's really interesting. I have shoes that are over 2 years old that I have now 700 miles on, that it's like, some of them are complete trash. Some of them, I got a pair of New Balance 1080s that I got 3 years ago. I don't know if they're the version 13s or whatever. And I'm like, I think these things, they have 687 miles on them, and I think they got another 400. They're fine. I don't know what's going on with them. But okay, I want to ask you some questions. Number one, what is super foam, and why do I need it, and who makes it? My buddy Eric, who's on the pod, is always like, we just the three of us all bought some Mount DeCoste H1s. I don't know if Jason's got those. I don't remember if he does or not. He's got a lot of shoes, by the way. But Eric's like, you got to get these. They got super foam. What is super foam? Is that a thing? What is it?
So Joey, I used to be really on top of all these things. 5 years ago, if you had asked me about the specific foam with the specific compound and whatever, I could have told you what it was.
Okay.
I cannot any longer because I'm not working
That's
on
fine.
the sales floor anymore. So for
That's
that question, you
fine.
would need to talk to Jason.
Got it. I will talk to
Jason is our
Jason.
shoe geek. He's the one that loves all the tech and all the info.
Yeah.
Honestly, most people, they just want something that feels good, so they don't care what it's called or what it's made out of or
Got it.
whatever. And so I read it, but it kind of
Got it.
gets
You do not need to
overwhelmed with everything.
apologize. You do not need to apologize. You're doing a lot of things.
And we
Okay,
don't
so my
carry
next
Mount Rushmore
question,
now.
my next question you may not be able to answer either then. I was going to ask how did we come up with and what's the advantage to a carbon plate? I mean, I kind of get it. It's this firm. It's not for slow people like me, right? It's
No,
for
mm-mm,
fast people,
no,
right? A
no.
carbon plate. I don't
Yeah,
need
a
that.
carbon plate. So what's interesting about that is that we actually don't carry a lot of carbon plated shoes because they're really expensive. I mean, they're like
Yeah.
over $200, and you're not going to get very many miles on them either. I mean, they're designed to be fast and speedy, and for just for like mostly just for your race day, right? And so they're just not going to get a lot of miles on them, and our customers are not going to pay $220, $250 for a pair of shoes that they're going to get 100 miles on. That's just not who our
Okay.
customer is. But yes, a lot of the brands also have nylon plates. And so this is like a cheaper alternative to a carbon
Okay.
plate. So it's not as stiff, it's not as like springy as a carbon plate is, but you get a lot of the same features. And so we do have some of those shoes as well too. So that brings the price down quite a bit, and you can still
Okay.
kind of get that like snappy sort of feel that like a carbon plate will. But it's like a spring. Think about it just gives you that real that spring off the toe,
Okay.
and yeah, yeah, and so
Got
you
it.
can get a similar feel with like a nylon plate and some of the other materials they're using for it. And those are most of the ones that we carry versus like the super shoes with the, legit carbon plates in them.
Got it. What do you do with customers that come in and say, I have plantar fasciitis or whatever. Give me a shoe that fixes that. Is there magic shoes that fix specific injuries or conditions, or
Absolutely
is it?
not. No, not
Yeah.
at all. And this is why, again, that question often comes up online, like, I have plantar fasciitis. What's the best shoe? And then everybody jumps in with a shoe that fixes their plantar fasciitis, but that is going to be caused by something different depending on the person, right? So it could be that you are overpronating and you need a stability shoe, and that is what caused your plantar fasciitis in the first place. It could be that you need a higher drop on a shoe. That could have been the issue. It could be that you are being overcorrected, that you are in a stability shoe and you shouldn't be. I mean, there's like all these issues. And honestly, a lot of times it's just like I went on vacation and I wore flip flops that had absolutely no support for a week long, and now I have this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's at that point, it's just support,
Yeah.
cushion, rest, stretching, and you just gotta work your way through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I thought on that. I don't think there's a specific fix for those things. So what brands do you carry? I know some of them. I think I like the brands you carry. A lot of the stores around here. Talk about some of the brands you carry, because I have some questions on a couple of them.
Yeah, so our most popular brands, number one, number two is Brooks and Hoka. That's kind of, everybody kind of is
Yeah.
familiar with them, right? Um, Saucony, New Balance are probably our next two most popular
Yep.
brands. After that, we actually sell a lot of the lower drop shoes. So Topo and Ultra are actually pretty
Mm.
far up there on our list in terms of like our best-selling brands. Um, Topo is personally the brand that I wear that I like. Um, and then we have, what did I say? So I said Brooks, Hoka, Saucony, New Balance, Topo, Ultra.
Do you guys
Um,
carry Craft? I thought I
we
saw.
just started carrying Craft in
Yes.
September. So yeah, we just got a brand new Craft shoe today. The Tempo, all Nordlight Tempo? Nordlight
Okay.
Tempo.
I got to tell you, I love the Craft brand. I was out at Mammoth Trail Fest, and your guy Jason, I was out there. I sent him a video. He's like, "Oh my god!" He was freaking out because they had the craft booth there and all the craft people, and I got a huge discount on a pair of shoes. I love that brand. It's a little narrow on my foot, so I need to find a model of theirs. But I like that they're smaller. I like these smaller companies and kind of like what they stand for and all of that. So you carry them. Are they usually carried in stores? Because I've never seen them. Maybe they're doing it now, but years ago I would always look for them in Fleet Feet or TC Running, and nobody carried them in a store. I always had to look online for them.
Yeah, I think it's relative. I think getting into the run market here is like relatively new. We just started carrying a lot of their apparel as well too. And what I love about that brand, like you said, it's a small brand, but their prices are really good. Like for what they're offering, like the price is really good. So your value for the dollar is great. And again, they're a small brand, and specifically for Minnesota, it's a great brand because they are a Swiss company, I believe. And so they are really designed for like these, colder climates for, road to trail, a little bit of mountain, but not, super technical. Like, so it's really, it really fits with our climate and, our needs here, at least in like southern Minnesota.
Yeah, I think they started out as like a ski apparel company, and then they eventually got into shoes. But I love their stuff. I love their shirts. I have a pair of their pants that I wear when I'm curling. I'm on a curling
you're
team.
A curler as well?
I know.
Did
These days it's so funny because
curling video?
Your curling video? No. Was it on Instagram? Send it to me. Send me. I gotta check that out.
Oh my god.
It's so funny when the Olympics comes around. 4 years ago, I didn't know a damn thing about curling. 3 years ago, I joined a curling team with some buddies. And, we have a beer and we just have fun. We don't take it too seriously. But when the Olympics came around, I'm like watching and I'm like, my wife's so funny. I was watching the women's team and they were like ahead and then they got tied by the Swiss team. And I'm like, damn it, they should have taken that stone out. My wife's like, oh, what do you think you are, a professional curler now? I'm like, well, no, but I can't do it, but I can see what they're doing. Yeah. But it is fun. I got to tell you, curling is a blast. We played a game last night and the Olympics got us fired up and I was practicing all day on my throws. And we demolished them, Tiffany. This team has beaten us like 2 or 3 times. We've never come close. We demolished them. We just took them apart. It was fun. But it's really fun when the Olympics come around. Everyone gets into curling. It's about the only time, but yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, these pants I got that I wear for curling, made by Kraft. They also are great running pants, or my wife and I are going snowshoeing. They're great for snowshoeing. Kraft makes a lot of great products. I mean, just all over the place. And you don't just sell shoes. You sell all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah, so we have, obviously all of your nutrition, your hydration products, your vests, safety, headlamps, all that kind of stuff, socks, obviously, and quite a bit of apparel. So obviously we have the Kraft brand apparel as well, and, Brooks apparel and Wazelle, and we also carry quite a few of sort of casual brands. So one of the things that I like to try to do at the store is, think about like kind of a one-stop shop. So if you're going, let's say on a, European vacation or something, right? And you need a good pair of walking shoes, but maybe you need a pair of sandals that you can maybe dress up a little bit, and you need a little, fanny pack that you can wear, and I don't know, a dress that you can, dress up or dress down or wear hiking, you know what I mean? Like, so I try to carry kind of a variety of things, including some casual stuff that kind of, or athleisure, if you want to call it that, that you can dress up or dress down, and, I mean, honestly, like I don't wear anything besides the stuff that, we carry at the store. So that's mostly my decision making process is like
Okay.
I need clothes to wear. So
I want to wear this, so
what
let's
can I
carry it.
wear? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about kind of the creative side of Tiffany. So I see on Instagram. So you're doing all the social media, all the posts for the store. I missed the curling one. I got to see that. Is that you, or who's putting all that together? Is that still you?
Right now, yeah, it is me. I've
Okay.
had a few different, social media people over the years, but yeah, right now, like, and for the last probably year and a half, 2 years, probably, it's been
Okay.
just entirely, yeah, entirely me. And honestly, I love it. I love, the graphic design,
Yeah.
the creativity, the making videos. It's just it takes a lot of time, and honestly, I would probably do it like if I hadn't kind of fallen into this sort of now I'm a small business owner and I sell shoes. That might have been kind of what else I might
Yeah.
have done if this hadn't kind of happened. So
You are an artist, literally an artist. I don't know if it was through threads or an Instagram. I was like, oh, not just the store, you have your own channel, your own brand. Last year, you did a project. What was it called? You did one painting every week, right? Did you have a name
yeah,
for that project?
yeah. So I actually started painting in 2020. So in December
Okay.
2020 was when I did my first painting. And so that, but I've always kind of been kind of creative. I've always drawn. I've always like done the adult coloring books and things like that. And but that was when I really started kind of doing my own things. But yeah, last year I did. So there's this. It was called the Art Sherpa, the Art Sherpa Fledgling Artist Challenge. And the Art Sherpa is somebody who did a lot of tutorials and kind of like some of my original paintings when I first started kind of figuring out like how to do all this stuff. Was one of the people that I found that I really kind of connected to and liked the tutorial she was doing, and I did quite a few of her tutorials. Unfortunately, she passed away last
Oh,
year, and so there's no more tutorials, which is kind of a bummer. And
no.
but they've always done this challenge where you could then join this challenge. It's just free. It's not like anything, official or whatever. But every week they would put out a different prompt, like a word prompt, and then a photo prompt that you could paint or not, or just kind of use the word prompt. And so every week it was a new painting. And so, yeah, I did 53 paintings last year because I also did the running goose for Med City Marathon last year. I was,
Is that the sticker that my wife and I
yeah.
got?
Mhm.
Erin has it on her water bottle, and she uses that every day. I see that sticker now. She's got it on her water bottle. She got
Yeah,
that
Med City
resolution.
they
Yeah.
do a commissioned art piece every year, and so they asked me to do it last year, and so that's what I did. Yeah,
The running goose. I
yeah.
love it. So you did 53 paintings. My God. Where are all these paintings?
Um,
Do you have them hanging on a big wall in your house? Where are they?
my husband's upstairs, and I can hear him laughing because he's listening to what's happening. Um, yeah,
Ah,
they're everywhere.
they're
They're
everywhere.
on top of mantles and hung to walls and on shelves, and yeah,
I love it.
they're everywhere. They're
Are
all
you
over the
doing
place.
that in 2026 or no? Are you taking a year off?
No, it was the stress of having to finish that painting in 1 week. I just and going into this year, I was thinking about running for office, and I've
No.
ultimately decided not to do that. But I knew I just wouldn't, if I was going to do that, I wouldn't have time, and so
Yeah.
I've just decided to try to spend some more time on bigger projects,
Okay.
larger paintings or things that take a little bit more time that I can actually expend some time on versus trying to
Okay.
rush through it and get it done in a week. So
I would be terrified if I was trying to do something every week. I think I would just be like, oh God, oh God. I would wait till the last minute. And was it like that for you, or was it more enjoyable, more therapeutic than it was more stressful last year doing a painting every week?
Most of the time, I'd say it was more therapeutic than
Okay.
stressful, but the hardest part about painting is deciding what to paint. And
Yeah.
so that took care of a good chunk of that. I already
Got it.
had a word prompt or a photo to follow. And so if I just had to paint what was
Yeah.
provided for me, it's, like I didn't have that decision making process of figuring
Right.
out like what to paint.
Right. Right. Got it. You were going to run for office. Do you want to talk about that? What, how, why? What's happening? You're running for office, not running for
Oh,
office? I
yeah,
have
Joey.
my curling buddy Dan Kessler is currently running for office. He he's great. He ran for it before, and I think he didn't get the nomination or something. He lives in Chaska, Minnesota. He's also very active, and we'll probably talk about this, or we don't have to if you don't want to. But he's very active with the anti-ice movement. He's on the patrols, and he's been posting Instagram a lot on kind of the supposed drawdown, but out in Chaska, they're not seeing that. So he does daily reports from his car, and they do a lot of the safety dispatch team, he and his wife. He's running for office, so I wish I lived in Chaska. I could vote for him, but I'm supporting his campaign. So you're running for office for what type of, or you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but
Yeah, no, I actually, last year I really, so after last year's election results, I really thought, okay, like what can I do and how can I make the most, the biggest difference and where can I make an impact? And so I started really seriously thinking about running for office. But as I explored that more, ultimately, I think that I can do more good in other ways,
oh,
not running, not because the time that it takes to run for
yeah,
office, the money, and then once you're there, I mean, technically it's a part-time job, but it's a full-time job, I mean, so like I was talking about city council, or some other kind of more local type things, but I mean, you are expected to spend 25 30 hours a week minimum if or more if you're really trying to engage your constituents and go above and beyond, and as the economy started falling, things started not being so great. I realized that just wasn't going to be an option for me to take that time out from the store to be able to run for office. But I've also, I think, realized that like I can make a bigger difference, and I can have more of an impact in other ways that aren't necessarily being in an elected office. So I'm helping somebody with their campaign. I'm using my kind of creative, the fun things that I like doing, doing some
yeah,
videos for this person, and helping with 5051 and some other things like that. And one of the store always I've always thought that like being a business owner and having a platform means that you have a responsibility to do things for your community and be
oh,
like, if you can, you should, I guess, is kind of how I've always
yeah,
felt like that. And so, as just a person with just a regular job, like I don't necessarily have a voice or a platform, or I'm not necessarily in front of a bunch of people, but as a business owner, as somebody who has a platform, who has, social media, who has all these things that can create events and bring people together and talk about things that maybe that that's really important, and it's an important part of like why I do what I do. And so I almost feel like that's doing more of that and just continuing to do that may actually be more beneficial to my community than,
Yeah.
you know, being on the
Then
dais and
trying to run for city
yeah,
council.
yeah.
I got to tell you, last night we're at our curling match, and Dan, my buddy who's running for office in Chaska, in between curling shots, he's emailing every single delegate of the Minnesota Democratic Party so he gets a nomination. Like in between shots, he's like sending Instagram posts out. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I don't know how you do it. That's he said he's like it's so much work behind the scenes to just even try to get elected. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Um, I love that you use your business platform to help to cause positive change in your community. How is that received, Tiffany? Do you get worried about? Because I know, the way you and I think, we don't think of these things as political. We think of them as just being a good human being and trying to help your neighbor. But I know a lot of these people, there's people obviously that take this very politically and they're like, well, what are you doing? Do you get worried about that? Does that affected you? Have you seen that happen, or is your customer base and your community pretty receptive to this?
You know, a year ago, I might have had a different response to this, but about 4 months ago or so, I'd say, I decided I just didn't care. Like it wasn't, it was no longer, it was no longer a choice.
Yeah.
That not saying something and not using your platform is saying something.
Yep.
Not making a statement is making a statement. Um, And I guess I just really thought that somebody asked me, like I had posted something, when I on my Facebook page, and somebody was like, "Aren't you afraid of what people are going to say?" And I was like, honestly, no. I'm more worried about my own integrity than the one or two people, or even if it's 100 people who are going to be upset about the thing that I say. I'm more concerned about being honest and authentic, you know,
Yeah.
than making a sale.
Wow. Yeah. I love what you're doing. I think it's very brave. And like you said, I think it probably gets to a point where it's too painful to not do something
Mm-hmm.
than to do something.
Well, and to answer
But
your question, my customers are, since I've been a lot more vocal in the last couple months, um, it's been like, I can't even tell you, like, it's just been amazing. I mean, um, I had somebody from uh, Seattle send me a check because they saw what I had posted, and they were like, "This is just a check for your business. Thank you for speaking out. You're amazing."
wow.
Um, and then we started doing all this mutual aid. So we've been
Yeah.
collecting
Talk about that a
donations
little bit. I want to hear
for
about this program you're doing.
5051 and Copal, and supporting our Latin families that are being affected by ICE here in Rochester. So we started collecting donations, and we, I think, decided on Sunday we were gonna start collecting donations. I did a post on Sunday afternoon. By Monday afternoon, so like less than 24 hours later, we literally had like trucks full of diapers and wipes, and like, I mean, it was just yeah. I mean, people
Yeah.
have just like really come out of the woodwork, and those might be people that have never shopped with us before, and so that gives them the opportunity to learn a little bit more about us. But it also may be people that will never come in again, and that's okay. I mean, like, we're just creating an opportunity, a place for people to. I think right now people really feel like they need something to do, and they need to feel like
Yes.
they're doing something,
Yeah.
whatever it is, And so we just provide a way for people to do that.
Yeah. It it helps too. I mean, it's a painful time, but I got to imagine for you seeing the response, knowing that you're doing something, making a difference, helps, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Um, how do we fix this, Tiffany? How do we get through this? I am working with a friend of mine who is a trail runner, and he's an immigrant from India. And I interviewed him on the podcast, and then we kind of became friends after that. His kids are, U.S. citizens, and he lives in Kentucky. And during the podcast interview, he talked about a little bit, but and then stuff started happening in Minnesota, and he reached out to me. He's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm okay." And but
Hmm.
the things that he and his family go through, I can't even imagine. So I don't have a mechanism like you do with your store, but Neeraj and I are trying to do something. So we're putting together a campaign. We're trying to get some well-known runners to show their support and be part of the campaign. And we're going to raise money for groups that are fighting some of the legal battles
Hmm.
for that community
Hmm.
in Minnesota, Kentucky, and California.
Awesome.
And so it's just like, it's a small little thing. I said, even if we change one mind, if we raise $100, we're successful. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I just keep thinking, how do we, as a country, how do we get through this? I mean, are there bridges that will never come back that are so burned now? What do we do?
I,
How do we
you
get through
know,
this?
I mean, I don't have an answer, but I think that we just have to hold on to hope. Like,
Yeah.
the second that we decide that like there's no changing this or nothing will come back, that's when we've lost the battle.
Yeah.
We need to there there always needs to be hope.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And I think there's got to be common ground. And Neeraj and I were talking too. It's like we can't, we disagree with people, but we can't stop talking to them. I know it's frustrating sometimes. And there'll be people that we'll never reach. And I'm sure they say the same thing about us and like, you're way out there. We got to find common ground. We got to keep talking. We got to have hope. I think at the end of the day, there's got to be things we can all agree on just basic human decency and helping a brother out, helping somebody out that just needs a helping
Mm-hmm.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for all you're doing. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I see all your posts, and I'm just like, that is so awesome. And I know it's a risk at being a independent business owner, but thank you. How's your community down there in Rochester? I've never spent a lot of time down there. Is that a pretty supportive community down there? I live in the heart of it, Tiffany. I live. These people that you see on the news, these are all my neighbors. These are all my
Yeah.
friends. These are literally blocks from me. I'm in South Minneapolis. So all these things are happening right around me. And so these are my people. What's it like down there in Rochester, your community?
Um, I feel like things are not quite as bad. I don't know. I I personally am not, somebody who's going to be affected by what's happening. My business is not, at a business
Right.
that's going to be targeted. Like, I've thought a little bit about how, people dropping off donations might potentially put us at risk, but again, like, not doing something is not an option. Um, I am so like there's so much stuff, there's so many things that are happening that I'm just like I'm trying to keep track of everything, but I am kind of following, some of the ice watchers and other stuff that's happening here. It it doesn't feel as difficult as it probably does up in the cities. But like our mutual aid group is helping, some weeks, 100 families in one day, delivering groceries.
And those are families in your Rochester area
Yeah.
and community?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I
That's
talked
good.
to somebody yesterday who is working with people. People are reaching out to her for various needs.
Yeah.
And this person didn't want to go to the doctor, even though they were having pain and an issue, because they were worried about
Yeah.
getting caught up in that the ICE was going to arrest them. And
Oh my
so this
God.
person, was like, based on what you're telling me, you have to go to the ER. And it sounds like it was lucky that she went to the ER when she did, but she was putting that off because she was afraid of getting arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. We could talk forever about that. Oh God. I hope it's getting better. Um, I hope, like you said, we got to have hope. I hope it's getting better. I hope people are just kind of coming to their senses a little bit and realizing this doesn't have to be a political thing. It's really just about human decency and respect for all people and doing what we can. Yeah, we all want dangerous killers off the street. I get it. So do I. I don't think we need to be racist and demoralize and intimidate and be the Gestapo to do that. So hopefully we get through this. We will get through this. No, we will. People like
Yeah.
you are part of the reason why. So thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk. Lionel Richie. I don't want to take your whole night, but I am not freaking. Wait a second. Wait a second. I have it. I think I have it queued up on my phone. Here we go. Here we go. Does this ring a bell? We just got to hear the first couple of notes here. Okay, the year is 2020. It's
Yeah.
everything's shut down. You're a new business owner. This is the first video on your YouTube channel. I'm gonna have links to all this stuff, folks. And the first video you post is a video called "Hello, a Quarantine Parody." What the fuck? I love it. How did you come up with that? What were you
So,
thinking?
so I'd mentioned that I was a band geek. I was also a choir
Yep.
geek, also
Okay.
in musicals and things like that. So I've always been interested and love that kind of stuff. I play the piano as well, and I sing. So. And my sister and I, who also works at the store, Mallory, she's my inventory manager. She
Mallory's
and
great, by the
I,
way. She helped me
yeah,
with my recent
yeah,
order.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, awesome, yeah. Um, we would sometimes just like send like goofy parody like lyrics back and forth, like, oh, wouldn't this be funny, whatever. Um, I don't even know how that particular one, it was probably something like that, like, oh, wouldn't this be funny if we did, this
Yeah.
video, and then we were like, okay, yeah, we got to do it. So we wrote the rest of the lyrics.
Oh my God.
I purchased the background track, for the song. I set up my recording studio, in my workout room down here. Recorded the music, so that is me singing. And then we were like, okay, but now we need to do a video. Like, we can't just release this thing
Oh,
without
and
video.
folks, the
Um, yeah,
video is so good. And I'm a
yeah,
drama guy. I'm a video
yeah.
guy. It's so
Yeah, my manager at the time helped edit it and put it together. Yeah, so I mean, it was a lot of fun. And we actually we're thinking about doing another one, because if you've been to our store, well, you have. The parking lot is a freaking nightmare. It can be, especially
Yeah.
at certain times. Well, probably not when you were there for Resolution Night, but sometimes it can be a total nightmare. And so we've been circling around ideas for like a parody video about the parking lot and being patient in the parking lot, and but back in 2020, I had a lot more time to
Yeah.
do things like that. So
Sure.
I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but maybe we'll see.
Got it. So that was when you launched your YouTube channel as well with that video, I assume, right? It's the first video on there.
I think I've deleted some videos that were on there
Oh,
before that just weren't relevant anymore. I think we
got it.
had a few, because we had um, virtual resolution night. We had a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of other
Okay.
like virtual,
Sure.
education events, things like that. So I think I might have deleted a few things that just weren't relevant anymore.
Okay.
But I do think that was, about the time when I started actually using YouTube for some of our things.
I
Yeah.
love it. Of course, I watched that. I watched Shoes 101. Very good video, folks. This is where I learned about pronating or didn't learn about it, but, it was a great video. You did Intro to Trail Running. You had a couple of other folks on that one that were helping explain trail running. What organization were they from again?
Trail Transformation, I think,
Yeah, that's right.
lacrosse.
You had one, I haven't watched this, Ask the Doc Nutrition 101. Love that. I just love that kind of stuff. And you need to do more. Okay. Fast Five, your podcast. I'm waiting for the next episode. Before this interview, I'm like, well, I better listen to the podcast she did. It was great. It was all of, getting to know you.
Yeah.
Who's the name of the lady who was the host of
Yeah.
that with
So,
you?
so I told you that I grew up here in Rochester, right? And so,
Yeah.
if back in the day, for people that are local to Rochester, they will remember KROC, um, um, Tracy McCrae was the radio host. She did the top 9 at 9 or whatever it was that we used to
Sure.
listen to,
Right.
in high school. She was like the celebrity.
Yeah.
And she works for me now. So
Great.
that is super exciting. And so she's done all these podcasts, and she's been on the news, and she's been on the radio. And so
Yeah.
she, has a radio voice. It's awesome. And she was like, I want to do a podcast. And I was like, please, let's do a podcast. And so she just kind of took it and ran with it. And we just talked about it today. We are going to do another Trail 101 type thing, probably with
Love it.
Jason,
Oh, yes.
and maybe John. Just kind of like, hey, like if you're interested in trail running, what do you need to know? What's scary? Let's, talk all the, frequently asked questions and
Love it.
gear and all that kind of stuff. So more will be
Love
coming,
it.
I promise.
I can't wait. I thought it was great. And I was like, I could tell just listening to her, I'm like, well, she's way 10 times better than I am. She's got the voice. She's really good. Yeah, that was fun. I love seeing that stuff. It's so fun. And I love what you do with your social media too. Jason and I've talked to him about this. I mean, I want to do a side podcast with Jason and maybe Eric and Mario just talking shoes, called Shoe Crew or something. My God, that guy, you must give him a free pair of shoes every day. He sends me photos and I'm like, dude, how are you going to need a bigger house? Where are you putting all these shoes?
Yeah, I think he got 2 pairs of Ultra Seed shoes today, so some new
Oh,
ones to
gosh.
try. But yeah.
Yeah. So I've tried, Mallory got me set up with the Ultras. Is it Experience Flow 2s or something?
Yep.
I've never had Ultras. I'm like you. I love Topos because I've got wide feet. So I am beholden to Topos, but I'm trying some different brands this year and I want to get some street shoes. And I got to tell you, those Ultras are really nice too. It's a little, I think it's a 0 drop or really low drop, which is always a little bit to get used to, but hopefully it'll fix my plantar fasciitis. My hamstring tear. No, no, it's really great. So I'm going to wrap this up here pretty quick. I'm looking at my notes, make sure we covered everything I want to cover. Usually I wrap these up, Tiffany, by asking my guests. Well, here, I'll ask you a couple of things. Now, you're not racing, you're not doing any running right now, but you said the comeback tour is happening at some point, right? The running comeback tour.
I am honestly not sure if I'm ever going to get back to running, but here's the thing is
Got it.
that my first value that I ever wrote down is progress over perfection. I 100% believe that you can, be just as active and just as, fit and all those things if you're walking. Now, I personally really need to get back into some, like a regular exercise routine. So it may end up just being walking, it may be hiking, it may be a little bit of trail running. Yeah, so to get back.
I mean, Jason will tell you my running is about 80% walking. So
Yeah, I mean,
I call myself a runner,
totally.
but
Yeah,
barely.
forward motion, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Forward motion. That's all that matters. So here's a couple other questions. So you've got the store, you paint. Is painting your hobby, or what other hobbies do you like to do besides
Yeah, for the
running
most part. I mean, yeah, painting and drawing. We got into
okay.
gardening last year, so
Oh.
we're kind of setting up our seed room right now and getting ready to kind of
Oh.
start some seeds and get things ready, for spring. So that was a new
Are
hobby this year.
Oh, I love it. Are we talking vegetable garden or
Yeah,
flowers or what?
both.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I did vegetables last year. I have some flowers for this year that'll be a
Nice.
first time experiment. We'll see. So
Very nice.
it
Very
actually
nice.
worked out really well. I thought it was all going to die and it was going to be a total disaster, but we had more cherry tomatoes than we could possibly eat in an entire summer. So I was giving them
Oh,
away
wow.
all the time. So it actually it actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. So my
That's
hope is
awesome.
that the other things that we're going to grow this year will work just as well. So we'll see.
I do a tiny bit of gardening. I grow two things. Years ago, I grew tomatoes and all that, and I could never eat them, so I don't anymore. I grow basil leaves
Hmm.
and cucumbers,
Hmm.
and then I make pickles
Yep.
that last for a year and a half, and I make pesto and I freeze it in the freezer,
Yeah.
and that lasts for a year. So I'm like, I'm gonna grow things that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna make something out of. It'll last in the freezer or the fridge, and
Yep.
that's it. Nothing,
Yep.
nothing I don't need.
Yep.
I don't have time. Okay, my last thing, I usually ask people 5 pieces of gear that they like to take with on a run. I'm going to tweak that a little bit. Tiffany, give me your 5 favorite pieces of gear that you sell at Terra Loco and why
Oh
people
man,
need them.
that is
Yeah, I know. We're going to piss off some brands. I get it. It's all right. I only have about
so.
58 listeners. You'll
I
be
mean,
fine.
I mean, I did already say that Topo is my favorite brand. The Topo
Okay.
Phantom's my shoe. That is, I
The
needed
Topo Phantom,
that
you said? That's a
Phantom. Yeah,
street shoe, right?
yes, correct.
Yep.
Or the Ultra
Got it.
Venture, which would be the road or the trail version of that shoe.
That's what I've got.
Topo just fits my feet the
Okay.
best. I need the low drop and I need a wide toe box. So Ultra works okay as well too, but just Topo just sort of fits my feet better.
Okay.
Um,
That's
I
one. Topo
That's
shoes.
one,
Okay.
yeah. The other thing that I carry around a lot, two things I guess I would say, are two bags that we carry in the store. So a Cotopaxi a pack and a backpack, which I think Jason has as well too. You've probably seen him carrying
Okay.
that around, that blue bag. And Cavu is another one of those like kind of casual brands that we carry. That they make these really great sling bags in like really
Oh
fun
yeah.
prints and colors and stuff, and they're like just like the perfect size to just carry stuff, on vacation or
Okay.
like to the state fair or whatever. Then we did that last year. So yeah,
Okay.
um,
There's two.
there's two. Yep. I'll probably say so. Garmin is another brand, obviously that we carry. We carry Koros as well too for watches. But
But
obviously I'm wearing my
you like
Garmin
the
watch
Garmin.
lately.
Okay.
I just haven't tried the Koros
Yeah.
personally. So, but I know Jason, has lots of great things to say about it. They have a little bit better battery life, and there's a little bit more bang for your buck with the Koros. But I've only have
Garmin.
experience with the Garmins.
Great. Okay.
Um,
Couple more.
Sunscreen. Okay.
Oh.
If you're a runner, if you're outside at all, you need to be wearing your sunscreen. So we carry this brand called Kinesis. It's a Canadian brand. It's, hyperallergenic. It is, you can wear it over or under makeup. Apparently they used it on the set of Thor: Love and Thunder because they could wear the sunscreen and put like the prosthetics over the top
Oh,
of it,
you're
and like it would
kidding.
stick to it. And
Wow.
it's not greasy. It's just really awesome. It's a little expensive, but it lasts forever. So
Okay.
that's probably another one.
Love it.
How many did I say so far?
That's 4. So what's your fifth one? What do you think is the one
Ooh,
more
I got
thing that people need to get from Terra Loco?
Gooder sunglasses. So
Oh.
I mean, everybody probably Gooders. I mean, like we sell a crap ton of them. we can't keep them in stock. I mean, like I have to place orders like every four
Mm-hmm.
or 5 weeks during the summer because we go through so many of them. But I mean, the quality and the price, like if you lose
How
them,
are they so cheap? I don't
they did
get
go
it.
up. They did go up in price. So, like a
Okay.
lot of things did at the first of the year here. But so yeah, now the base price is 30 versus 25. But still,
Still.
I could easily spend $50 or more on, a pair of sunglasses like that. And then if I lose them, then I have to pay another $50. So I mean, they're the nice price point, but I love color and I love variety and I love matching stuff to my outfits. And so I probably have, I don't know, at least 15 pairs of Gooders, for different occasions and, different outfits and
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I have about 5 pairs of Gooders. I like them a lot. I've switched to because my eyes got really sensitive, so I switched to the ones that have the wider coverage that
Yep.
like wrap around or whatever you call that style. I look goofy as hell, but they sure work good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, this is delightful, Tiffany. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for agreeing to do this. Mostly thank you for everything you're doing for, with all the stuff going on in our state. I really appreciate people like you and everything you're doing to try to help out, to try to look out for our neighbors. So,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. My pleasure. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, season 2 underway. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for the great conversation to start off another year of Running Behind. And thank you for all you are doing for your community, for your neighbors, with the store, and everything else you do. I will have a link in the show notes to Terra Loco. I highly recommend you check it out in person or online. Oh, and of course, I'll have a link to Tiffany's Instagram pages and her YouTube channel, where she has some fun and informative videos. But the absolute creme de la creme is the amazing video called Hello, a Quarantine Parody. You absolutely need to check that out when this podcast is over. So that's it for this time. Until next time, cheers, take care of yourselves, keep that forward motion and momentum going, and don't be afraid to grab the hand of the person next to you and help them along, because we are all really together on this ride around the sun, and we're all just doing our best to cross that finish line. This week's Running Out Loud segment is a piece by Joe Harton. This is called Persistence. It isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself like motivation does on a Monday morning. It rarely feels heroic. Persistence is the quiet decision made again after yesterday, which already asked a lot of you. It's lacing up when your legs remember the miles. It's showing up when no one is watching, no medal waiting, no finish line chalked across the pavement. It's the middle, the part of the story where nothing remarkable is happening, except you didn't stop. You don't feel stronger yet. You don't feel faster yet. You don't even feel certain, but you go anyway, because persistence isn't believing it will all work out. It's moving forward when you don't have proof that it will. It's a long road before sunrise. It's a run commute in the dark. It's another mile on a day you already ran enough. Not dramatic, not celebrated, just repeated. And over time, repetition becomes identity. One day people call you dedicated. Another day they call you tough. But you know the truth. You were just someone who kept returning to the path until the path started to feel like home.